And welcome to the Husson Eagles Sports Network for the 9th game of this NAC 2024 Softball Championships. I'm Avery Henningsen alongside Zethan Moss, as we will have the Thomas College Terriers taking on the Suny Poly Wildcats. In this one, the Terriers will be the home team in this contest, as we saw them just have an exciting victory over Farmington just about 30 minutes ago. So playing their third game of the day, Poly their second of the day. So we'll see how fatigue kind of sets in for the Terriers.
Yeah, the Terriers definitely have their work cut out for them. It'll be Trinity Critelli in the circle for this lineup. It's going to be a tough task to get around her. We saw the Eagles knock her around to the tune of 11 runs. However, I don't think we'll be seeing a performance quite like that against this Terriers lineup. We're in for a good one today, and the starter for the Terriers, Brooklyn Federico, the last pitcher that hasn't been used for this staff, a 6.46 ERA across 26 innings of work. That coming in 9 games for them starts, and owning a 1-3 record in that stretch. So Federico might have some trouble with this Poly lineup that hits the ball very, very well.
They got some of the better batters in the league. Biggest one in Kimberly Birmingham, one of the top players in the North Atlantic Conference and really the Northeast as a whole as well, and or the country, I guess. One of the batting averages in the nation. So she's going to be the one that Thomas is going to want to try to get through in this one, and they're also going to have to try to get hits somehow on Critelli.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that Critelli has some weaknesses. We saw the Eagles expose that earlier today. It's how much were the Terriers paying attention to that game plan, and how can they influence that here in this ball game. But start off with Poly in the batter's box first.
And the thing we've been seeing in a lot of these contests is the teams that have kind of gotten that early lead have won a lot of the contests. You saw that with Thomas. They got the early lead in that one. Farmington kind of fought back, but Thomas wound up winning the overall contest. So we'll see if Poly can jump out to an early start here.
And it's going to be important for Federico not to let the moment get too big. The freshman in the North Atlantic Conference the North Atlantic Conference tournament for the first time. So now facing one of the top teams in the conference and one of the best lineups in the region. So a really tall task to go out there for your first pitching appearance of the postseason.
And we'll see how much momentum plays a role in this one as well, as Maddie Rock across the diamond, and she'll get first batter there in Aragon.
It's also going to be important to keep that defense up. Again, the Rock sisters there on the left side of the diamond turned it in very well. A couple of miscues in that last game, and the Beavers were able to capitalize on that, but then Emily Rock driving home Maddie to win it.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a contest that defense is going to be so important. Obviously, Thomas doesn't necessarily have their ace out there in the pitching circle. It's probably going to be hits in this one, and there's probably going to be stuff into that infield and outfield that defense is going to have to kind of back her up out there. This one off of the pitcher. Second baseman coming in. Play over, not in time, though, as Turk gets there quickly.
Yeah, that one a quick comeback here. Federico, good reaction just to get a hand on it. And it looked to be the glove hand that she's shaking out as it glanced off of her.
Like she's kind of signaling to the Obenhalzer there that kind of hit the base of her palm. So will be a runner on here for Birmingham. We mentioned one of the better batters in the nation. I think 571 right now on the season.
Birmingham also connected for a 2-run shot in that earlier game.
I think Thomas does have the momentum coming into this one, coming off the victory just a half hour ago against Farmington. Probably still riding that a little bit right now. Poly, obviously, the tough loss to the Eagles, who have just looked strong the entire tournament. Kind of went out there and had a statement game against the number 2 seed here in the NAC. Good job by the catcher to keep that one in front of her. Now we'll run it to 3 balls and no strikes here on Birmingham. Probably a little bit nervous here to throw one at her. And that one in there for a strike. A good job from Federico. Put one over the plate. And that one in there for a strike as well. So Federico kind of climbing back in this at-bat.
Able to work a full count, but we know Birmingham's a patient hitter, so you might just be trying to get a feel for the right-hander.
And she's going to send this one out into center field. That's going to be down for a hit off the wall. We're going to see if they're going to be able to get this one in to home. Throw going home here. This is going to be close. And getting there first is Poly, and Birmingham in at third. So Birmingham, we said it, one of the better hitters in the nation as a whole statistically, and gets it done here for them.
Yeah, and gets a hold of this one on the line out towards the gap in right center. And running all the way was Olivia Turk. Yes, Olivia Turk. Read it right off the bat and able to come around to score. And that ended up being a close play, but a little hesitation from the fielders for the Terriers. That one could have gotten in faster and made it closer at the plate.
Yeah, Turk kind of paused there at third, and I think the fielders kind of thought she was waiting for a moment, but kept running. So one out here, runner at third for Poly. A fly out would score that one. This one's going to get fouled off up over the top of the netting. As this is the designated player in Stevens.
Stevens also hitting .451.
And that one's going to be caught by the left fielder. Had to throw the cutoff in, and Birmingham will get in easily. So the sac fly will score at one here. So Poly out to the 2-0 lead early in this one. And it will be the catcher now in Childers.
Ladies. Oh boy.
As there's 2 outs here, nobody on for Federico. This one's going to get its way in play. I think Knight might have had a play on that one for a second, but that'll be a little bloop single for Childers.
That's a hard play to make if you're either Oberhalser or Knight working to back the opposite side of your glove too. It's a difficult catch to make, and Oberhalser almost had a glove on it, and the Knight there to back it up couldn't quite get it over to her in time.
Will be Amy Shana up to bat now. Shortstop in this contest.
Audrey, what are we swinging here?
And a runner at first for Poly here. 2 outs. 2 runs have already crossed for them, though. This one's going to get sent up into the air. This will stay in play. We'll see if the catcher can make a play on it. Doesn't manage to get glove cleanly on it. Still have the face mask on. It's a difficult one to locate up there, Ethan.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times we'll see catcher either just rip off the mask right away or keep it on. That's just kind of an effort to keep the playing field the same, so to speak, in terms of what you're seeing. And you can make contact with that ball as it goes up, or eye contact with that ball as it goes up. It's really easy just to keep the mask on.
Well, I think in the process of pulling it off, you're definitely going to kind of block your vision there for even just a split second will cause you to lose the ball. So a difficult play out there. And that's going to be a swing and a miss on that one, so I'll make it a 2-1 count now, or 2-2 count. It'll be 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away here. That one in there for a ball. Runner over at first still in Childers.
DeSena just been pretty content to sit back and watch the pitcher in Federico just keep going and worked a full count because of it.
And she's going to stay alive in the at-bat here with that foul tip. good job of just trying to push Federico out there on the mound. As the Terriers trying to get out of this inning with just the 2 runs allowed. This one popped up into the infield. Catcher underneath it, and she makes the play on that one. That will end the inning, but 2 runs cross for Poly as we will head to the bottom half of the first. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Zethan Moss here, as we'll see Poly out on the field defensively for the first time in this contest. And should get 2 runs across here for Fratelli, who has thrown all the games here so far for Poly.
And Critelli, again, great first game out. Then struggled against the Eagles lineup, but somewhat expected given how well they're playing at the moment. Even as good as Critelli is, again, among the league leaders in most pitching categories.
Yeah, I think one of the candidates coming into this one for Player of the Year for the North Atlantic Conference. Like that script might have flipped a little bit after that contest against the Eagles, which saw Kenzie Dorr get another 2 home runs. I mean, kind of an unbelievable playoff series right now for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're 5 for 6 with, 13, 14 RBIs, 4 home runs and a triple, it's not bad.
And Telly's going to throw the 4-pitch walk here, so see if that trend continues in this one. Obviously, a lot of innings already for her.
Maybe the confidence a little rattled after that outing against the Eagles. Again, with a win today, that would set them up for another matchup tomorrow. And you would have to assume Critelli's going back out there.
Yeah, 1.5 ERA on the season for Critelli. Probably isn't used to allowing 11 runs to anybody really out there.
And Critelli in that game passed over the 200 strikeout mark on the season. So continuing to lead the North Atlantic Conference.
That was one of the biggest losses of the season for Poly, and I assume Critelli out there on the mound for a lot of those contests. The only other one I see on here is a game against Utica earlier in the year.
That was a final score of 12-2 all the way back on April 17th, so nearly a month ago.
And Critelli very well might not have even been on the mound for that one. A couple other pitchers, Joy Stevens, the other one who has pitching experience as well here for Poly. Wouldn't be surprised if Poly could get up in this one, if they would bring in that secondary pitcher, allow Critelli to have rest in this.
Yeah, you're already up 2-0, and it's the first inning, so I would let Critelli go a couple of innings at least to see how she's performing and maybe get her that feel and that confidence back before taking her out maybe for Stevens.
And she gets the strikeout there. Definitely a confidence booster for the senior pitcher. Definitely could be tough for her if she didn't pitch in this one to kind of, if they win this, then they are going to take on the Eagles again suddenly your last pitching performance that you're kind of going to have to sleep on tonight is that big loss to the Eagles that saw some big runs from them. I think Husson really kind of a difference maker on the base pass more than anything out there. Obviously some strong hitters, but then once they get on base, they are very strong at just kind of getting around the base pass. As that one in there for strike two.
That can get in your head a bit too, and knowing that they're going to dance around out there trying to draw a throw and make you make a mistake with, the amount of runners that they're able to put on base and run around. There will be a mistake somewhere in there, and they're going to capitalize on that, and that can really get into your head as a pitcher.
Well, there's plays, I think, with Husson that other teams aren't going to be making out there that, and what should have just been a single all of a sudden is getting legged out for a double, and then the runner from third is running home all of a sudden, and then can be very confusing, I think, for a lot of teams.
A lot of those secondary throws after the play is over. That generates a lot of the Eagles' extra lengths down the base pass, so get an extra base or two off of a miscue, missed throw, the attention turns to another runner, all sorts of things that you can do, and that's Coach Roberts doing a fantastic job coaching that team and getting them in that mindset. And other teams trying to replicate that haven't been as successful.
And this one's going to get hit out into center field. Settling under it is the center fielder, and that will make the play there, as that was Turk who got underneath it. So Matty Rock will fly that one out to center field. As it will be one of the more dynamic players here for Thomas.
So we saw Rock passing something along to both Oberhalser and now Witten waiting on deck. So seeing something off of Critelli are both of these teams. The Eagles did that earlier.
And Oberhalser swing and a miss on that one. So they have an excellent game one here to against Morrisville. Going 5 for 5 in that one. Also good performance out in the pitching circle. Kind of struggled a little bit against Farmington. She had a couple hits, but also a couple key strikeouts that prolonged that contest as well.
Yeah, and what makes for an incredibly long day. Long few days for all of these athletes, really. Because you got to remember, most of them traveling from at least an hour away. Thomas being the closest down in Waterville.
That one's going to get fouled back off, and I'm sure it's kind of an interesting tweener of would you rather stay in a hotel 5 minutes away or get on a bus after playing 3 softball games, drive an hour 20 home, and then sleep in your house or your dorm room back at college. I think it's kind of a mix between the both and probably kind of varies player to player.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about personal preference and figuring out what you're comfortable with. And a lot of the times you'll have a certain routine. I know as someone who used to travel all the time and have to have performances early on in the morning and stuff like that for swim meets, that trying to have an established routine is super important.
And Critelli sends Oberhalser down on strikes. I think Critelli right now nearing that 200 strikeout mark, but that will end the inning as we move to the top of the second. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network, as it will be Poly back up to bat here. We saw them put up 2 runs in the top half of the first inning and then get through that bottom part of the inning with just the one walk to start it off. So trying to give pitcher here in Critelli some run support. We mentioned it in that bottom part of the inning. I think they would love to get up a decent amount of runs here, pull Critelli from the game, allow her to rest for tomorrow, and kind of bank on the rest of that pitching staff being able to hold on to the lead. Will be a ball and a strike here to Finlay. As this one's going to get grounded to Rock. Rock on the run, and what a play from the shortstop. She's definitely impressed on this overall tournament.
Yeah, just over and over again, those soft grounders right in behind the circle that Rock has just been eating up, making the play every time. The throw on the run, she makes it look so easy, but it's one of the most difficult things in baseball to be able to, or baseball or softball, to be able to get that transition, that throw, reach back, fire, all while on the run. Really, really difficult. She makes it look so easy.
And a big cut there from Powell. She's just underneath that one. As Rock, like you mentioned, great defender. Felt like in that last game against Farmington, we were kind of calling her out for not making great defensive plays. There was one that was kind of up over her head that we've gotten so used to her making those ones that pretty much any other shortstop in the league, we wouldn't really bat an eye at them not making a hold on that one. But Rock missed that one play, and we were kind of like, man, usually she gets those ones.
It's always difficult to just keep repeating. You're always going to make mistakes. Consistency is only to a certain degree. Like even the best fielders have 970 fielding percentage, so you're still making a few mistakes along the way. The best fielders, 5 to 8 errors typically in at least the major leagues. For softball in the professional softball league, very similar kind of thing. Only 5 to 8 errors is the sweet spot for a lot of those award winners, those best defenders at their position, and Rock does not make him very often. I believe only 2 on the year.
As Powell staying alive, Rock definitely one of the rocks of this defense.
At least I didn't make the joke. I thought about it.
And swing and a miss there as Federico knocks down the first 2 batters here, having success against the tail end of this lineup. As it'll be Hunter up to bat now.
Out of the bottom of the order, Hunter, not an easy out, hitting at 372, which is below the team average of 387. Poly, I believe, is 5th in the team average statistic in D3 softball. The OPS above 1,000 as a team.
Yeah, one of the better batting teams in the nation. The Eagles would definitely be in that contention as well if Kenzie Dorr had played a full season. And also, the Eagles do a lot of kind of small ball tactics that kind of drive those batting averages down, I think.
Yeah, sometimes those numbers don't always reflect what you're seeing on the field, and that's why it's so important to really do your research about a team. That's why we spend a lot of time on prep work, to be able to really give a full scope of what's going on the field and what these teams are looking like. So if you're not prepared for it as a coach, and if you haven't done your homework, then you could be caught off guard by a lot of these teams and how they play. Because the numbers obviously jump off the board for the Wildcats, but sitting there at 24-8 as the 2 seed behind the Eagles.
And that one's going to be a walk there to Taylor, or Hunter, that is.
Returning to the top of the order, left field number 4, Eva.
And I see Coach Rick Roberts for the Eagles down there by the Thomas dugout. Always scouting this game, obviously seeing both these teams play a couple times now. But also trying to get some last-minute stuff here.
Yeah, always a student of the game. That's one of the things that separates the good from the great, is you're always learning. You're always trying to improve your craft. And Coach Roberts, sitting at the top of the NAC right now, has his sights on more.
And that one's going to be caught by the right fielder, so that will end the inning as Poly goes down here. So Thomas will be up to bat, trying to even this one back up. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network, as it'll be Thomas up to bat here. It'll be Whidden, who we saw pitch in that game against Farmington, up to bat here.
Yeah, Whitten did her exactly what her job was, to get through as much of that game as she could without allowing a ton of runs to that Farmington lineup. She did exactly that, just the 4. So delay of game called. Not very often that we get to see that. So home plate umpire making the call there, and Critelli charged with the ball.
That was interesting. Didn't seem like gave her a whole lot of time out there.
So Coach Wayner coming out to get to the bottom of this. But from what we've seen throughout this conference tournament is that the umpires have been right on their game. They've made the right calls most of the time, and a lot of these really close calls that impact the way of the game. So but consistency as well.
And Critelli may be a little bit rattled after that one. It'd be tough sometimes getting that sort of time violation as a pitcher. Doing part of your routine and then getting called for it out there. And that one low here, so 3-0 count now to Whidden. And that one in there for the walk. So Critelli, after the time violation at 3 straight balls, will put Whidden over at first. So back-to-back innings starting off with a walk here for Thomas. Last inning, they didn't manage to move the runner up from first. We'll see if the tail end of this lineup can do something.
So this is already more traffic than I was expecting out of the Terrys. They still don't have a hit yet, but a couple of walks has put them on in some interesting spots against Critelli. And it's clear that the Critelli that we're used to seeing playing out of the NAC West hasn't quite made the trip out here yet. And we're still looking for her to turn it on. After that first game, played very well. Still a little bit more traffic than you would have expected.
And this one hit by Rock out into left field. Coming in and making the play is the left fielder, and I will keep the runner over at first.
Well, Rock showing some frustration. The younger one, Emily, she's had a lot of well-hit balls that have just gone right at a fielder today. Couldn't keep them away from the Beavers, can't keep them away from the Wildcats now.
And it can be difficult as a batter sometimes. It's really just kind of a millisecond of difference between what is a hit and what's right at the center fielder out there. This one hit out towards the gap, trying to range over there. Nice play by the right fielder. Might catch the runner in no man's land, but not there in time. I think Thomas thought that one was down for a hit. Another one there stolen by the Poly defense.
Yeah, Whitten definitely misread that and thought that was going to drop, and I can't blame her getting out there. Powell showing off the range and makes a tough catch on the run, fires it back in too, and very, very minute detail. Lefty there makes the catch, righty does not. And Powell, the lefty, able to make the catch.
Yeah, I'm going to get that one over her back shoulder as Federico, the pitcher here, getting her first at bat. And this one hit out into right field, and making the play again is Powell. So the outfielders doing their job out there. They'll end this inning, and Poly will be back up to bat. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Ethan Moss here, as Poly has worked out of a couple early runners out there. Has both the last two innings starting off with a walk, and then having 3 straight outs to close it out. As we saw Federico do well in the last inning. Struggled against Poly in that first inning of work, but seemed to kind of figure it out a little bit in the second.
Yeah, settled down. Only gave up just the 1 walk to Hunter at the bottom of the order. Now flips over with Turk in the 2 spot. See how she works through this top part of the order. Obviously, you got Birmingham waiting on deck. So that'll be a real sign on whether or not she settled into this start.
And we saw Turk hit a single and come around to score in the first inning. One of the 2 runs that crossed for Poly early in this one. As I'm sure Poly eyeing a few more runs here in this third inning. This one hit hard, but well foul. That probably could have gone down for a hit. That was out into field of play.
Yeah, Turk has been finding the gap really well this year. 7 doubles and 8 triples. Show off that speed as well.
Center fielder definitely having the ability to get around the base path. That one's going to get fouled off. Similar sign as well. It'll be full count now to Turk. See if she takes a cut at this one or takes the ball here. And this one's going to get sent out into right center. Ranging over is the right fielder and making the play. A couple nice plays between both teams out in right field in that similar area.
Yeah, well, we saw Federico patrolling right field for the Terriers for this tournament so far. And our first look there at Katie McIntyre, who takes over in right, showing off some range and making a good running grab. We'll see her getting up to bat, or excuse me, as the flex, so she won't be up to bat. I'll give her a shout out in right field.
And McIntyre playing about 20 games this season for Thomas. Batting only 188 though, so be putting to that flex position. That one's going to be well outside there for Federico. And that one inside now, so 2-0 count here to Birmingham.
It's smart just to try to pitch around her. We've talked about it enough. We know the power of and the danger of that bat. And I think Federico as well aware of that. Trying to avoid the long ball and giving up a run on 1 hit.
Will be ball 4 there to Birmingham. Will be the designated player here in Stevens. Also the one that we kind of eyeballed as who might take over on the mound if they could give Fratelli enough of a lead in this one. This one's going to be grounded to Rock at shortstop, going over to first. And it looks like she'll get Stevens. She's going to take that one instead of the play over at second. Would have been close there with Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham coming in quickly, and you don't want to worry about Knight getting taken out. So go with the easy out at first and trust your pitcher to deal here now with Chellers.
As that will be 2 outs here now. As umpire giving the pitcher a second here. Childers taking her time getting into the batter's box on that one. That one in there for strike 1.
Childers hitting just above 400, 405 in the regular season, 24 RBIs for the junior out of Carthage, New York. A good stop there from Duhame.
Sooner make a couple nice defensive plays behind the plate already in this one.
Got to keep it in front of you as a catcher. That's your main goal. Keep the ball in front of you where you can see it. She's done a great job of that.
That one up top for ball 2. So 2-1 count here to Childers. And that one's going to get grounded foul. That had been fair. Would have been a difficult play there for Emily Rock over at third.
We've seen her make one close to that. She laid out to snag a hot shot and made the throw across the diamond too from her knees.
And this one's going to get down for a hit here. Birmingham going for home. Throw over to second as Thomas makes a smart play on that one. So Birmingham in for another run here for Poly. As Childers lays that one down for a hit out into right center.
Yeah, Childers now 2 for 2 with an RBI. The backstop, a lot of production from a position that typically doesn't see a whole lot across any level where you want to focus more on defense. So being a key offensive contributor out of the 5 spot, great day for Dayton Childers.
And it'll be Tashana up to bat here. This one dropped by Duhame, though. Childers will take second, rounding wide out there. But the Terriers ready for it.
Just really trying to bait the throw, and you saw Rock out there shaking her head. I don't know. Hold on to that softball. Still got 2 outs. Good chance to get out of it here with the Senna.
Well, I think in softball, it's a lot easier than I think probably baseball to kind of get those runs as this one hit out into center field. Nice play there from Ferrone as she makes the play from her knees out there, and that will end the inning. But one more run across for Poly. They move up to a 3-0 lead. And a welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. It'll be Ferrone, the 9-hole batter here up to bat. Thomas right now Poly that is, getting through the lineup pretty well. Taking 8 batters through the first 2 innings of work. Poly already back to the midway through the order in the second time around.
Well, Ferrone out of the 9 spot in the last game had a single and then a couple of sacrifice bunts. Each one of those incredibly important as they each scored a run. And for the Terriers, they were able to walk it off in the 7th, so every run counted.
And Critelli's been dealing out on the mound. He's walked the first batter of both the last 2 innings, and right now already down 2-0 here to Ferrone. Kind of an interesting little stat line there. Kind of walk the first 2 batters and then set the next 3 down in order. That one in there for a strike.
I don't mind walking the first batter if it means I'm going to set down the next 3, but you can't always guarantee that.
It'll be a 2-1 count now. That one's going to catch the inside corner, so it'll be a 2-2 now. That one looked like one of those kind of tweener calls. Could be called either way. 2-2 count here to Ferrone. And this one's going to get popped up. See if this stays in play. And Childers just barely not managing to make the play on that one.
Yeah, that one, even if she was able to make the catch, made contact with the net a little bit higher. So it wouldn't have counted. But a great effort, regardless.
Ran into the wall on that one.
She had a tough one yesterday where it was kind of just golfed and floated behind her. She turned around and just laid out for it towards the wall and made the catch. It was a really incredible play.
And a good piece of hitting there from Ferrone to just stay alive.
Ferrone battling right now. Working the count with Critelli.
We 2-2 count here. Fouled a couple straight off. This one, that was good contact, but well foul. Ferrone doing her part to try to drive this pitch count up a little bit for Critelli. Sure, probably for her a little bit of a shortened leash here today. Obviously, Poly eyeing that championship game tomorrow would probably like to have Critelli out on the mound. Despite the performance earlier against the Eagles, still your dominant ace. He's kind of had a bad day. That one's going to stray outside for ball 3. But pitching in will be her third game now. I think if Thomas can kind of drive that pitch count up, could try to chase her out of this one a little early. And this one eventually going to get hit out into center field. And enough height there for Turk to settle underneath it.
So a long battle there results in the fly out. But again, you're seeing those pitches. Every single pitch that you can see is an advantage to you. The more looks that you can get, the more information you can pass to your teammates. And we'll see how that pays off now, second trip through the order.
As it'll be Pickering up. She walked in the first inning. That one's going to be just low for ball 1.
Saw Critelli kind of shrug there, not knowing where it missed.
I think that's the similar pitch that Poly's really been looking for all day. I think in that Husson game, there was a number that they were looking for that one to be a called strike, but the umpires say have been pretty consistent on that low pitch not getting called. Which I think for Critelli might be a little bit hurting her a little bit. Seems like one that she's comfortable with, trying to put that one low on the batter. This one's going to get sent up into the infield, and shortstop will make the play there. As that will be 2 outs now.
Maddie, would you make that catch?
Second baseman number 1, Leah Knight.
So it'll be 2 outs here, as it'll be Leah Knight up to bat. A lot of speed out there on the base pass. Seen so far in this tournament that if she can get on base, and has the ability to get back around them pretty easily.
Yeah, Knight struck out back in the first. That one swinging, and another couple strikeouts in the previous game. That one single back in the 7th. She later came and became a factor on moving some runners over. That resulted in the walk-off for the Terriers.
Will be a ball and a strike here to Knight. That one's going to be high. Mike Childers trying to communicate something with the dugout on that one. Kind of push Critelli to have to wait there for a minute. Usually Critelli, a pretty fast worker, kind of gets set, figures out her pitch, and then just kind of goes for it. That one in there for strike 2. So 2-2 count here on Knight.
Knight just waiting for a pitch to hit. These have been all painted around the edges, and nothing really appetizing enough to pull the trigger on.
So both Critelli and the batter taking kind of timeout here. Seems like
He calls the ball again.
and that one in there for ball 4. So taking the walk, Knight did. I mentioned it. Good base runner out there, a lot of speed. As there'll be Matty Rock up to bat, down 3 here. Situation where big double would probably score Knight from first.
Yeah, and if Knight takes off right on contact too, again, Rock in a great spot.
And this one hit hard out into left field. Enough height though, and gonna make the easy play is Aragon. So that will end the inning there for the Terriers. Got a runner on every inning here, but haven't managed to get anything across. So we'll be back over to Poly. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Ethan Moss here, as will be top of the 4th here, as Finley up to bat for Poly. We're going to see the bottom 3 of the order, second time through for Poly. As Federico still working out on the mound for Thomas. This one chopped weirdly, and Rock and the pitcher running into each other out there. Emily Rock, that is. But managing to hold on to it is the sure-handed right fielder.
Well, that's why you always call a ball no matter what. It's it feels like a formality sometimes to call the ball, but that's why you do it even on something like that, where that little miscommunication could have resulted in something really bad for the Terriers.
Well, I'm sure Federico, too, used to playing out kind of all alone out in right field. Usually you don't really have to call that one unless you're kind of running in for one or ranging over to your right side. And usually it wouldn't be that quickly, but on that one, just kind of like probably that outfield instinct kind of kicked in, just settled underneath it, was going to make the easy play, but 2 of them almost colliding. But in the end, it's an out, and I don't think anyone will ever remember that play moving forward. So the Terriers get the out here.
Now it's just something to put in the back pocket to remember. That's why you always call for the ball, and it's been exactly what the doctor ordered for Federico in the circle, too.
As that one is be a ball, so it'll be 1-1 count here.
So far, just giving up the 3 runs on the 4 hits. Again, we know that Poly was going to be able to get to Federico to some degree. Just how much was it going to be, and how does Federico bounce back from the runs that they're able to put on? Birmingham jumped up with that 2-run double back in the 1st, and then since then, other than that one RBI single from Childers, she's been locked in and great in the circle.
And that one's going to be a strike, so should be a 2-2 count now. And this one's going to get hit hard out into center field. Trying to make the play back over her shoulder. Doesn't manage to get there. And Powell's going to have to hold up at second, but gets the long fly ball out over the top of Ferrone's head in center. Will go down as a double there. So it will be Hunter up to bat now. Really, Federico's been pretty strong out there. She can get out of this inning. Only allowing 3 over 4 innings of work. Just needs the offense for Thomas to do something against Critelli.
Terriers have yet to get a hit. Again, they've gotten those those base runners. Still searching for that first hit of the ball game and gonna start to really need it. It's getting into the second half.
That one outside from Federico, so 2 balls, no strikes now to Taylor, who we saw take the walk in the second inning of play. That one in there for strike 1. Federico trying to fight back in this at-bat. And that one's going to get bunted down right in front. Catcher throw over to first, and she'll get Hunter with a few steps to spare. That will move the runner over to third. We'll be back around to the top of the order here, as Farragon will be up to bat.
Farragon 0 for 2. Ground out and a fly out on her ledger today.
That'll be ball 1 to her. Farragon batting .441 on the year. Also has 9 stolen bases coming into this tournament. She's probably picked up at least 1 so far in the tournament. That one looked like a good pitch from here, but it'll be ball 3. So Federico, danger of putting another runner on here, and with Turk up to bat, followed by Birmingham. That'll be a 4-pitch walk there to Farragon. So now it'll be runners at the corners here for Poly. And it'll be Turk 1 for 2 in this contest with a single.
Yeah, good single back in the first. Came around to score thanks to Birmingham. And, well, a tough situation for Federico to try to work out of now.
This one hit hard underneath the glove of Rock, as that one gets away from her, trying to make the kind of off-glove play out there.
That's a play we see typically made by Rock, even to that backhand, which is a tough play to make. She's been consistent with it.
So Federico not managing to get out of this inning, as it will be Birmingham up to bat. Not the one you want at the plate. 2 runners on. It's 2 outs away, though. But with a run across already, that one's going to be high. Saw her take the walk back in the 3rd inning. And the double in the first. Already 2 runs across and an RBI for her.
You pointed this out, Avery, last time Birmingham up to bat. She's wearing work gloves.
That's usually a sign of pretty good hitter out there, when you can kind of put on the work gloves and just go to work on the base pass. That one smashed out into center field. As runner going for third, they're going to throw over there. Birmingham's going to take second. And Rock trying to hold the tag there. That will score another run, as Birmingham takes a bow out on second base, as that will put Poly up 5 here.
Well, Birmingham now 2 for 2 with a walk and 3 RBIs. Just trying to extend this Poly lead and keep putting the Terriers further in the rearview mirror.
So it'll be the designated player in Stevens up to bat now. Not sure what the umpire's writing down out there. I don't think there was any defensive or pinch run changes out there. And this one's going to get hit out towards the gap. That's going to get down for a base hit. This will score at least 2. And staying over there at second is Stevens, as she gets the stand-up double. So Birmingham and Turk will cross Birmingham up to 3 runs in this contest, and all of a sudden it's starting to get ugly here for Poly, as they've scored, I believe, 3 here with 2 outs in this inning.
Yeah, 3 here with the 2 outs, 4 in total on the inning. Really just trying to get out of it now for Federico. And can't seem to catch the luck as Poly third trip through the lineup, really starting to square it up and see the ball well.
I believe all 4 runs actually coming after there being 2 outs. There was a runner on base before that second out was made, but I had a situation there where all you just needed was a fly out to end the inning, and all of a sudden, Poly puts up 4.
Take the one off of the glove of Rock, and it's just a 2-run inning. Or just a 1-run inning, excuse me. So the opportunity to get out of it there. And just those missed opportunities can come back to bite you, and trying to play a clean ball game.
This one's going to get sent towards right field, and making the play is McIntyre. That will end the inning, but 4 runs across here for Poly as they keep the offense rolling. And Cortelli, we'll see if she's back out there on the mound to continue locking down these Thomas batters. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network, as we saw Poly put up 4 runs in the top half of the 4th inning here. And Thomas right now, Ethan, is just in need of scoring in this one, as we'll obviously have the last at-bats in this game. Poly right now just 1 run away from making it. This one hit hard. This one is off the center or the right field wall, as that one off the bat looked like it was gone. But I think knocked down by the wind. That one might have been out of here at noontime. I think with a little bit heavier air now, that one hitting into that right field wall.
Still a leadoff double. I was over here motioning that it was going to be a home run. I thought that was gone off the bat.
It was about midway through the home run call there as that one hit off those sponsor signs out there. Shout out Domino's on that one, as that hit off that right field wall. So Oberholzer gets over at second and will be Whitten up to bat here. And really, Thomas right now in a situation where they could put up 2 or 3 here. They would stay alive in this game. But it's going to be tough to kind of ask a team, even if Poly puts up nothing in that top half of the 5th. You're going to have to come in down 7 in the bottom half of the 5th. Well, I guess you would continue the game at that point. But if they put up 1 run, then you might have to come in and try to score 8 in 1 inning, which is just a tall task out there, especially with Critelli still dealing out on the mound.
Yeah, and just that first hit from Oberholzer, it's the first one this lineup has produced. They've had 3 base runners prior to that.
Well, you can just see the difference in the two kind of lineup sheets here in front of us between the two teams. Poly just a whole bunch of numbers and symbols out there with, well, Thomas has really just been kind of 4 batters up, 4 batters down every inning of play here.
Yeah, a lot more ink on the away scorecard.
Poly already about midway through their 3rd time through the lineup. While Thomas right now just midway through the 2nd time through the lineup. That's usually how you can produce 7 more runs than the other team. This one hit hard to the shortstop. And a good play over to first as they'll get Whitten out over there.
Yeah, able to keep Oberholzer there at second is also big because with Rock stepping up, she's been putting everything in the outfield. Again, hard hit just right at the defense. So if Oberholzer was able to move over there, then that sets up Rock for a sacrifice fly, and that's your first run on the board. That's a huge win.
And Emily Rock batting at just under 200 coming into the tournament. Only 1 double and no other extra base hits, so seems like that trend kind of thing continuing. I think probably getting a little bit too under it. Sending stuff out into the outfield, but just a little too high and allowing those outfielders to get underneath it. And that one just outside. Will be a ball and a strike now to Rock. And now that one in there for a strike. Critelli trying to keep this kind of 4 up, 4 down thing happening. He's gotten in trouble at like the front half of a lot of innings, but then kind of instantly figured it out from there.
Yeah, it's only been 4 batters, like you're saying, in every inning so far.
Down on strikes goes Rock. As she'll move to 0-2 on the day, it'll be Duhame up to bat now, the catcher. She'll make a couple nice plays behind the plate. See if she can get one in play now for Thomas. As I think they would love to just at least get one across here, maybe try to spark a little bit of something. But Critelli seems to have settled into a groove out there on the mound. This is kind of what we were expecting from her coming into the tournament. Obviously, Husson, dangerous batting lineup, but the rest of the year, Critelli's been just kind of dominant out there on the mound. Mentioned, got over 200 strikeouts on the season in that Husson game.
Well, I said that Critelli looked like there was a couple of things not quite right about her motion and delivering everything those first couple of innings. Those issues have all gone by. Looks like she's really settled in, fixed herself in this start.
And that one's going to get down for a base hit. Oberholzer. And nice play, running over to second as the catcher makes the slide in over at second. Duhame taking the double out there.
Yeah, officially goes down as a double. She just didn't break stride in the throw, being held at third. Just running all the way. Heads up base running. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the pitcher to help herself out.
That's kind of what you need to do to get runs across against this Poly team. It's just aggressive base running, I think. And we'll see if Federico can get one in play here. Runners at second and third. A big opportunity for her to at least maybe get a couple across here. A lot of speed, obviously, we just saw from Duhame. over at second. Not normally what you might see from a catcher, but Haim definitely speedy. So a single could potentially score 2 here.
Well, and a couple of big hits for Federico to close out that last game. Really clutch. Able to keep the ball rolling offensively for the Terriers. They came alive late in that one. Maybe be doing the same thing here.
And Duhame will be running on contact, I'm sure, 2 outs away here. Able to get a pretty good head start on it. That one's going to be low. Good job by Childers keeping that one in front of her. Not sure if Oberhauser would have gone for home on that. It'll be 2-1 count now to Federico. That one low. Federico here trying to set up something for Ferrone. One ball away from having the bases loaded here for the 9-hole hitter who we saw have a pretty good day in that earlier game against Farmington. And this one hitting the umpire, the third base umpire down there. As that one was hit hard. I'm not sure if that would have been a fair ball or not. I think it would have been just foul.
Well, got a hold of that, too, for Federico.
Yeah, if that had been in play, that would have made its way to the wall quickly. That looks like coaching staffs and or other umpires going over to check on him out there.
Husson training staff out there as well. But he got up pretty quickly after that.
That one's definitely going to give him a bruise, I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll be there in the morning.
Husson, some of the better training staff, I think, in the North Atlantic Conference, though. As we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network as they check on him out there on the field. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Looks like third base umpire going to stay in the game here as he took that hard foul ball off of him out there. That one at just inches, though, from being a fair ball. I think if that had been about a foot to the right, would have been all the way down that line into the outfield corner.
Well, you got to come back up there with the same mindset, Federico. You can't let this little stoppage get in the way of your momentum. You just ripped a ball off of one of the best pitchers in the conference. So you try to straighten it out here, keep that mindset going, find the grass in the outfield. You've got 2.
And that one low as they almost picked off the runner over at second. Oberhalser going for home. Missed throw here. And mistake there from Poly. I don't think you really had any need for that. You're fine with allowing one run to cross, but can't allow the other 2 runners to advance up the base pass.
Birmingham out there at second just made a bad throw home. It would have been a close play with Oberhalser breaking for the plate as the throw went to second. Or got away from Critelli, excuse me. So great base running from the Terriers. Now back within 1, still same situation. Still got runners on second and third.
So it'll be Ferrone up to bat here, but probably should have just been a loaded bases situation there, but with 2 outs away. But Oberhauser taking advantage of that throw to second. Thomas kind of taking a leaf out of the Eagles book on that one. Might have tried to draw the throw a little bit over there at second.
Again, we mentioned Terriers' offense came alive late in the last couple of games for them, so this isn't all too uncharacteristic out of this Thomas squad.
They definitely have the hitters here, and with 2 outs, the ability that you just kind of run on contact. A single could definitely score a couple runs here.
Yeah, and Federico, obviously the right fielder, showed off a lot of range in these previous games, runs very well. Duhame could score easily on anything put in play.
And that one, headhunting the third base line again here.
Everyone out of the way of that one. But Ferrone, same sort of thing, straighten it out. That was some pretty decent contact. You find a hole in the infield that might get through.
There's a lot of space up through the middle of the field. Both central infielders kind of cheated over to the right and left sides. And good eye there from Ferrone.
It's a gutsy take. That kind of pitch is really hard to lay off of. And a lot of times when it's playing close to the zone, too.
I think that low pitch getting called a ball pretty much all day, though, so probably Terriers knowing that. That one outside for another ball here, so Critelli, similar to the way that Poly put up some runs, kind of pitching herself into a little bit of a jam here with 2 outs. And she'll walk Ferrone here, so back around to the top side of the lineup. Pickering 0 for 1 in this one, but back-to-back walks here from Critelli. Will load the bases up. Could be some of that fatigue setting in a little bit. Not sure what she's at for pitches in this contest.
Well, for the Terriers, it's just important to try to keep this inning going. Back-to-back walks followed by the double, so you may have rattled Critelli.
And this one's going to get down for a hit. The Terriers will score 1 here. Runner going for third, and she'll get there safely. Runner at second. That one's safe as well. So the Terriers plate 2 here and or get runners at second and third still. Some aggressive base running this overall whole inning here from Thomas.
That was a smart move. The throw went home. The runner at second broke for third. That was Ferrone. And then with Pickering out there at second, when that throw went to third to try to nab Ferrone, she took second. Like you're saying, a leaf out of the Eagles book, and it's paying off.
That one in there for strike 1. So Thomas here trying to put up some more runs. Obviously 2 outs here. Leah Knight up to bat. That one well outside.
Knight walking a strikeout. Again, 2 out rally for the Terriers. They've done it all with 2 outs.
Now you got it.
That one in there for strike 2. Celli sitting at just 73 pitches in this one so far. He kind of got through front couple innings here well, but now in this 4th inning of play, Terriers seeing some pitches out there. It'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Critelli. And at Knight here, big situation. Swing and a miss on that one. So Critelli comes through for Poly, but 3 runs will cross here for the Terriers. So I think definitely in that situation, you would have loved to get some more as a Thomas player out there, but still, getting those couple runs across, I think will help them a lot.
Being able to put up 3 off of Critelli in 1 inning in that bunch, that takes a lot of pressure off of not only the pitcher trying to work through this. We're going to have a pitching change too. We'll get back to that after the break. But the pitcher, a lot of pressure taken off of them, and then the offense, same thing. You've got less runs to try to get in a big bunch.
And we'll be back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network in just a moment. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Ethan Moss here as Poly still up 4 here on the Terriers. Thomas kind of pulling themselves back into it a little bit. 4 runs is doable, I think, in the game of softball. They can't allow Poly here to score anything more, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Poly, trying to keep that offense going. You played it 4 in the top half of the 4th, which feels like a long time ago. 2 very long innings between these teams, and I believe it's taken about a half hour to get through the 4th inning, if not longer. So try to keep that offense rolling on your side, and keep in mind, you're still working with a 4-run lead. That's still a sizable advantage in any ball game.
And it'll be Wynn now pitching out in the central circle. I think you mentioned that right before the end of the bottom half of the 4th inning there. Wynn really had the majority of the game's pitching out there for Thomas. We mentioned that we might see Oberholzer here in this later part of it, but seems like this would be the situation you would bring her in, so I think probably leaving her over there at first. Trying to save her, theoretically, comeback scenario. And try to win this contest. We are quickly losing some daylight here, Ethan. 6:45 right now. Sunset probably around 7:15, 7:30 or so.
Yeah, more towards like 7:40 this time of year. We're approaching that lovely 8 o'clock sunset up here in northern Maine.
And that one off the glove of Wynn and out into center field.
Well, Sena picks up her first hit of the day. Now 1 for 3.
So it'll be Finlay up to bat now.
But, I mean, if these clouds clear out tonight, we're supposed to get a good shot at seeing the Northern Lights. One of the best ones we've had in quite a while.
And this one's going to be fouled wide.
So that could be a fun treat for some of these players on the road.
As that one will make it an 0-1 count here. Wynn trying to get through the inning without allowing any runs. And this one's going to be laid down for a bunt. Rock going over there, throw over, runner going for third. Rock head straight over it. Left fielder should have been over there for that play. I think that's a mistake out there from Thomas. But heads up base running there by Poly.
Yeah, so on the bunt, draws Rock off the bag and nobody covering with sister Maddie going over to second. So, yes, that is the left fielder's job to have to come and cover that bag. there's no other option there other than the pitcher Witten. If she had read the play well, she would have gone over to third, but trying to cover that bunt is what happened, and that's why she ends up at third. Smart base running as well from DeSena.
And Poly coming out with a pinch hitter here. It'll be Ariel Bell coming up to bat now.
Bell, the senior out of Herkimer, New York. Herkimer. There we go. I knew it was going to get out eventually.
And she swings and misses on this one. A runner at third here for Poly. Important batter for Whidden. Needs to get the out here. I think preferably with a strikeout. And this one's going to get popped up or some pop up to the infield. I think even a hit to the infield would kind of force Terriers to either try to throw home and catch the runner coming from third or try to pick the runner over off at first. This one hit to the shortstop, and Rock will make the easy play, but that will score the run. So coming in, Bell making the successful play.
Yeah, that's all you got to ask for now. Her fourth RBI on the season. So able to contribute here in the playoffs. That feels good as a senior. And your last appearance is in the Poly Blue.
And this one's going to get popped out to the third baseman, but one run will cross here for Poly, make it a little bit more difficult for the Terriers. But within 5 here, Thomas going to come back. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. This will be the Terriers up to bat. I think both of us kind of trying to get it through our heads that these games go 7 innings. We've seen so many already in this tournament, ending after just 5.
And then after being here for the entirety of the Eagles season, where a lot of the opponents at home were on the receiving end of that run rule.
So it will be the older of the two Rock sisters in Maddie Rock up to bat here. 0 for 2 in this contest. Couple of flyouts out into the outfield. Bears trying to have a similar inning to what they had last. Kind of finally got to Critelli a little bit. And this one's going to get popped up and foul. And I think really this is probably the strength part of this lineup on paper here for Thomas.
Yeah, if there's going to be another rally for the Terriers, it's most likely got to come in this inning unless they're able to get some traffic and then work around to the next part of the order in the 7th, or in the 6th, rather. But it's got to come in this inning to keep that momentum going.
Well, those were some big runs, too, in the 4th inning. As without that, this would be kind of a must-score inning for Thomas.
Well, it would be a must-score inning down 8 runs.
So Critelli showing a few signs of weakness here. This one popped up third base side and making the easy play. is the third baseman in Finley. So that will send a rock back to the dugout. I don't think the performance she would have liked to have today. Made some nice defensive plays, but in the at-bat side of things, hasn't managed to reach base yet.
Can't always be your day at the dish, but it is for Oberhalser.
And this one again popped up third base side, and Finley making another play. So top two hitters most likely there for the Terriers, going down on soft contact to the infield.
That one may have been my fault. I'll take the blame on that for the announcer's jinx.
And Whidden up to bat now here for the Terriers. And that one will be in there for ball one. And holding up on that one was Whidden. That pitch a little high.
You can tell by the way some of these batters are kind of just check swinging everything. They're just confused. Critelli, again, she just has flat out stuff. And that's why it's even more impressive that the Eagles were able to get to her so efficiently.
Seems like also Critelli might be not really technically getting some fatigue out there, but seems like for most of these first two games I've seen her throw, pretty much everything right around the plate. And now here in this one, a few things kind of straying outside a little bit.
It's more so mental fatigue. You got to think you're concentrating this whole time. We're up here concentrating the whole time, and we're starting to fall apart as this day is worn on. But for Critelli, it's the same similar sort of thing where you've got to think constantly on top of your game, mentally prepared for every single pitch, and that can really wear on you over the course of a day.
Also, so much of softball pitching is just kind of timing that if you don't release at the right point, that hit both the hitter and the catcher on that one. It took a funky bounce off of the batter and straight inside and hit the catcher as well.
Looks like it glanced off of Witten and then caught the arm of Childers. So Coach Wayner coming out to check on her backstop. Has done a fantastic job of catching Critelli. And that's kind of what you would expect out of a duo that has been the battery for the Wildcats for the bulk of the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Thomas or Poly, that is, has a backup catcher who has really significant minutes on the season. Looks like Taylor Hunter also listed as a catcher. A couple different players listed as that catcher position, but we've really only seen Childers in this entire playoff run.
You can tell why, because again, she's been very good defensively, stopping a lot of balls from getting behind her and making a couple of great defensive plays, lots of efforts at other ones. Again, we mentioned that one where she dove towards the backstop yesterday. It was a really incredible play. The one earlier where it just caught a bit of the net and was out of her reach. So a couple of very good plays for her. She's been great, rock solid behind the dish for Critelli, and looks to be okay.
Will be 2 outs here, runner at first now for Thomas. And we saw them have some success with 2 outs back in the 4th inning. It'll be Emily Rock up to bat. Has struggled in the batter's box so far today. Done well defensively, but 0 for 2 in this one. Struck out in that last inning. But it was the tail end of the lineup after Rock that really scored most of the runs in that little rally. That one's going to be high for ball 2.
Rock just got to be patient, work the count with 2 outs, make Critelli make those mistakes that she's started to make more of.
And Rock's going to foul this one off.
If you're able to draw a walk, put 2 on for Duhame, had that double. Scored a couple of runs in the 4th, so Rock, right in a lot of pressure, has to work a great at-bat.
One high for ball 3. Will be 3 balls and a strike here now to Rock. Big situation here for the Terriers. If they could get a couple here, keep it within that 3 to 4 range. And that will be a ball. That one right on the edge of the plate.
Keep the inning going for the Terriers. Like I said, got to work that patient plate appearance. Give it over to Duhame, who saw the ball well in the 4th. Now an inning later, gets another shot at Critelli and a runner in scoring position.
I really legged out that double yesterday, or not yesterday, earlier in this game. Had one that this one sent sky high. Should be an easy play for the second baseman, and she'll make the catch. End that rally there from Thomas. As Duhame showing some frustration over there behind first base. Would have liked that one to land for a hit, but that will end the inning. Still another couple innings left here for the Terriers to try to come back in this one. And welcome back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. As Wynn still warming up here on the mound.
For Poly, this inning is just maybe try to expand that lead a little bit more.
And good play there from Rock.
Center fielder number 6, Olivia Turk.
But back to what I was saying, this one, it's going to be important. Just try to keep that offense rolling. They plated 1 in the 5th, so again, just try to keep pace with the Terriers or keep out in front by a sizable margin, and that should keep this game out of reach for Thomas, who's having a great run, though, as the 6th seed here in the semifinal, trying to punch a ticket to that championship game, but some work to do.
That one in there for strike 1. As Thomas has looked pretty strong in this one.
Yeah, they've made a few runs at it, especially back in that 4th where they got the 3 runs. But other than that, haven't been able to string it together off of Critelli. There's been base runners in every inning, at least one for the Terriers, but nothing doing afterwards.
And it's felt like one of those games that this one is sent sky high. That's going to stay in field, though. And caught by Ferrone out there in center. So Wynn here, sending the first 2 batters home. It'll be Birmingham up to bat. Well, the first times in this game that she's been up to bat without runners on base for her.
Yeah, that's where you breathe a sigh of relief. If you're Witten on the mound, you know you're not going to get tagged for at least more than one earned run if Birmingham gets a hold of one, which we know she can.
Birmingham getting on base all 3 at bats in this contest, couple doubles and a walk. That one in there for a strike.
Looked like Birmingham had a bad read on that, backed out of the way of it, but no movement on it from Witten.
I'm sure as the sun continues to set out here, to our right of the field, it's going to be harder and harder for the batters to see everything clearly. And she'll take the walk on that one. Actually, that one called a strike. Birmingham was halfway to first on that.
Already a couple of steps down through the bat, then got the bad news.
And Birmingham trying to get some frustration out, but not far enough. So Ferone making a couple good plays out in center. And Thomas getting the benefit of the doubt there from the umpire. That will end the inning, and be back around to Federico and Ferone to get something started for Thomas. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Thomas here, down 5, inning and a half left to play here at O'Keefe Field. Sun quickly setting as we pass the 7 o'clock mark. Cortelli still out on the mound for Poly.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully overcast today for the most part, so we don't have to worry about shadows, but still the lesser light makes it harder. Thankfully, softball also working with a bright yellow
About to say,
ball, so it's
like a baseball game might be a heck of a lot harder out there. This one hit hard, but too high. Shortstop should be able to make this play, and she does.
The center fielder, number 7, Abby Ferone.
Will be Ferone up to bat here. 0 for 1 with a walk. Ferone making the last 2 outs in that last inning on Poly. And Ethan, what do you think the Terriers need to do here in this inning to just kind of get themselves in a position to theoretically try to come back in that 7th inning?
Well, for starters, you got to get Ferone on. You know, in this situation, 1 out, you cannot go to 2 outs. And again, you're talking about 5 runs, and right now you got 4 outs to get those 5 runs. That's what you got to start thinking is how many outs do I have left to get these runs, and it's 5 outs now, and how can I plate those runs? So for Coach Plord, you want to try to get Ferone on, then you flip the lineup back over to Pickering at the top, work through Knight, and then hopefully you get to Rock and Oberhalser with still some traffic on the bases, and that's the recipe for success, but it starts with Ferone getting on.
That one in there for a strike Grown, speedy center fielder. Has the ability, I'm sure, that she could get on base. Terriers, we saw in that little run they had, some aggressive base running out there paid off for them. Managed to get around the bases pretty well. That one high. So Ferrone here, 3-1 count.
She hasn't had much to swing at either, so I'm keeping the bat on my shoulder here and making Critelli hurt herself.
Ferrone here does have a pitch to take. And she will, so that one in there for a strike. Good job from Critelli, delivering there in the clutch.
That's one of those ones, again, more mental from the pitcher out there in the circle. You got to think, okay, maybe she is thinking, have the bat on the shoulder so I can just put one right down the middle.
And swing and a miss there as she gets Ferrone chasing on that one.
That was a good pitch. The rise ball going to the outside part of the plate. It's hard to lay off of. And getting a piece, but good squeeze behind the dish.
So Critelli showing why she is arguably the best pitcher in the North Atlantic Conference. One of a couple names out there. Connor Lang for the Eagles, as well as Masterson as well for Husson. Both definitely kind of in that same conversation. Lang, the freshman, leads the league in ERA by pretty wide margin, 1.17 to 1.5. Critelli there in second.
Masterson right behind her, 1.51.
The other important thing to note, too, is that a lot of that gets calculated. This one hit out into center field. Making the diving play is Turk, as that will end the inning. A nice job from the defensive end. And that will end the inning here for Thomas as we move back over to the Poly side of things. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Seventh and final inning potentially for this one. Obviously, barring Thomas tying it back up in the bottom of the seventh, but theoretically here, I think probably about the last inning we got daylight for as well. Maybe one more after this one. This one's going to get fouled back as that one off the roof here of the press box. Will be strike one here to Stevens.
I think both teams just kind of want to get through this half of the inning. Thomas to try to get back out there, get the bats back out there. And for Poly, you just want to get Critelli back out there to get through this game and get off and start thinking about tomorrow.
Go ice that shoulder for Critelli. This one hit hard. Rock not managing to make the play on it. It's a difficult play over at the hot corner to make. That one hit hard, bouncing just in front of her. I think that's a hard read for the third baseman to make. It's a lot easier to get one that's kind of a bounce just in front of the plate at you rather than a bounce 5 feet in front of you and kind of kicking up towards you.
Yeah, and as a fielder, you're taught you want to have the glove facing down or upside down, I guess, right as the ball is pitched, so that way it's right there. But sometimes when you start that pitch and that's a liner, that soft liner, as a third baseman, you want to turn that glove over. That's kind of what happened there, is she got caught in between that transition, whether or not she wanted to have the glove low or the glove high, and goes off the glove instead.
So it'll be Critelli coming in to pinch run here for Stevens. She has some batting experience in the games that she's not pitching in.
Limited limited sample size for that, but Quattrelli runs very well.
That one a high. As her catcher the other side of that battery trying to hit her in. And she's going to foul this one, a back foul. So it'll be a ball and 2 strikes now, 2 Childers. And this one's going to get fouled back up over the top here again. So Childers staying alive in the count.
In a battle, trying to stay alive. Still with a runner on. Poly can keep pouring it on.
That one's going to be low. Chance here at second. But Quattrelli slides in there. Not necessarily the situation you want your star pitcher in. Kind of on collision course there with the shortstop.
No, I'd be a little nervous if I was Coach Wayne, or even just putting Quattrelli out there, knowing that I'm going to need her tomorrow at any rate.
And all signs would point. Joy Stevens, though, 1.97 ERA across about 75 innings of work. So she has that ability. Caught cleanly by Rock over at third. And Oberhalzer is going to hold off on that throw back across. The runner moved over to third now. Good play there by Emily Rock. But Joy Stevens has some, statistically, the pedigree out there. Obviously, Quattrelli a little bit better in that department, but we've seen Quattrelli in the first 3 contests now here for Poly.
I would have expected that Stevens would have gone that first game to try to open. Still a great pitcher for the Wildcats, but opting to give Quattrelli the bulk of the work throughout this tournament. It could pay off. It could not. They've got the rematch at the moment is what looking like it's going to be the rematch between them and Husson.
This one laid down for the bunt. Throw over to first. Quattrelli going for home. That one too late, so another run will cross here for Poly. As the sack bunt will score one.
Senna picks up that RBI.
That'll be an interesting to watch. Obviously, Quattrelli hit hard by the Eagles in that contest. I think you probably still bring her out for that contest, even it being her 4th game, but maybe potentially that leash is a little bit shorter than you might have seen from her for the rest of the year.
Just be something where you see Quattrelli, she gets 1 or 2 clean innings, and then you try to pull her before that fatigue and everything else starts to really set in and the Eagles can jump on top.
Joy Stevens, 4th in the conference in ERA. So both these 2 top teams in the conference, you can kind of see why. Husson with the 1-3 pitchers in ERA, and Poly here with the 2-4 pitchers in ERA. Quattrelli and Lang kind of head and shoulders above anybody else in the conference in strikeouts, as this one's going to get hit down the right field line. Difficult play. That one's going to drop for a hit. Trying to leg this one out. Going to be a strong throw back across the diamond, and it's going to hold on to it as Knight. That's going to be a triple there for Finlay, the 3rd baseman, as she gets all the way around the base pass.
Well, with 2 outs, Poly trying to put this one further out of reach. And championship, it's playoffs.
That one was slammed, but well foul. As it'll be one strike here to number 13 here in Powell. I believe we saw her get either pinch hit or pinch run for in the 4th inning. That one a little high there from Whidden. It'll be 2 balls and a strike now to Powell.
Yeah, we got to see Ariel Bell come in as a senior getting some play in the tournament. Got to feel good, and then Powell goes back out there. You can swap back in and out like that.
Softball definitely a little bit more lax with that than baseball is. A lot more interchangeable with the batters and or pitchers out there. I think the designated player, too, playing a big role in that as well. You can really swap them for anyone. This one hit hard, and that one will score another run here as Powell rounds first. Oh, Poly trying to put this one further out of reach here for Thomas. A couple runs now in the top of the 7th. I think this is just not what you needed to do here if you're Thomas. You really need to get out of this inning, not allowing anything out there and keep it within 5.
Yeah, now a 7-run deficit when you've only had 3 hits off of Critelli. That is basically insurmountable.
Will be a ball and a strike now here to Hunter. And this one hit hard right at the third base coach there.
Hunter out in front of it. Seen that a few times today from both sides, or all sides, I should say, where they're out in front, ripped it down the line. A couple of them almost a home run.
And that one looked like it might have hit Hunter if she hadn't swung at that one, but defensive swing will foul that one off.
Still battling against Whitten.
Whitten trying to get out of this inning. Give the Terriers just a 7-0 deficit here. Or the 7-run deficit, that is. This one popped up. I think this is going to stray its way foul. And not managing to make the catch is the Husson Athletics personnel down there.
I mean, that quite literally is his job.
As the grounds crew here today has done an excellent job overall.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to kind of reset the field after every game here.
Every game, 5 of them today, and then after this, you got to get it ready for tomorrow. So, and we were talking, the field's kind of dry, going to need a little bit of watering, both probably today and tomorrow morning before that championship final.
After how rainy the spring had been and or snow, it's definitely changed. This one caught by Rock and back across the field. That will end the inning, but 2 more runs scratched across by Poly. Will make it a 7-run deficit here for the Terriers. And welcome back to the Husson Eagles Sports Network, as this will be the Terriers' last set of at-bats. 3 outs away from ending this game is Suny Poly. It'll be Leah Knight up to bat here. It'll be a good batter to start some sort of rally here for Thomas. It's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, we'll see what she can do to spark it. Again, out of the 2-hole, got Rock and Oberhalser waiting. We'll at least see them this inning for the Terriers.
It's basically can't kind of get out easily in this inning. If you're going to get out, it's got to at least be a difficult play out there if you're the Terriers. Going to try to get on base any way you can.
They fought all tournament. You just got to keep fighting.
And 3 straight balls here to Leah Knight. Talked about her speed all tournament. Definitely a player. Dangerous on the base pass, obviously. Celli, 7 runs to spare here. Could allow these first 6 to score and then knock down the next 3 and be fine out there. And fighting back in the at-bat now. She throws that one in for a strike. Sure, Knight definitely kind of giving the sign to take on that one. As this one's going to be high, so Knight will take the walk.
That's how you start a rally, is get on base. And no outs. It's a good time to start it, and a good person to bring home that first run.
Maddie Rock, the graduate student. Biggest moment as ever for her. It's potentially one of her final at-bats in college uniform. Going to foul this one back, and half expecting Childers to make the layout play into the brick wall on that one. She was going to let it drop for the foul.
Wise decision. That one a lot closer to the backstop than the previous play she made. That one's you're a lot more concerned about diving into a slightly padded brick wall.
It'll be 0-1 count here to Rock. And this one hit hard. That's going to be down for a base hit. This will put runners at first and second. So Rock doing her job. Has nobody out. Oberhalser up to bat. Mentioned had gone 5 for 5 in that first contest. Has a double here today. So struck out and popped out to the third baseman.
Yeah, I mean, a total of a 6 for 8 day. And have a day. We're gonna class act right here as Coach Plord subs out Maddie Rock and what could be her final collegiate appearance on the softball diamond. Michaela Panich takes over at first. So Rock, a long-time, huge, impactful player in the North Atlantic Conference, closes out her career.
Really one of the stalwart additions here for the Terriers over the years. Definitely known probably more for her defense than offense, but also one of the better offensive players. As a little bit early on that one was Oberhalser. Looked like she had a pitch to swing at. Obviously has the power to go for the fences here. There'll be a ball and a strike now to her. Runners at first and second. Nobody out here. Terriers down 7. As that one in there, ball 1. Ethan, if Critelli loads the bases here and continues to get in trouble in this one, do you think about going to the bullpen, trying to switch it up on the Terriers?
I'm not sure. It kind of just depends on whether or not she can get an out here. She can get an out with Oberhalser or the next batter. I would probably let her go and try to face Witten, who's reached base a couple of times on a walk and a hit by pitch, but grounded out her other at-bat.
That one low again here. We saw her bounce a couple in there. as she'll issue her second walk of the inning. Load the bases up here for the Terriers.
Yeah, one swing of the bat can really change the dynamic.
And I think that's going to end Critelli's day. Critelli's day. We'll see if this is just a mound visit or a pitching substitution out there.
Looks to be just a mound visit.
You see, looks like Stevens warming over in the bullpen here. Gonna have so one side of the lettering here through the gap in the dugout.
Shout out to one of the other staff members up here in the booth. So 223 pitches, Zach Mills. Thank you for that.
Definitely a numbers guy up here in the booth.
223 pitches on the day. It's a lot.
Yeah, we saw her in that last at bat bounce 2 into the batter. Not something we've seen from her really all tournament. Definitely, I think fatigue setting in a little bit here, but bases loaded. Widden up to bat here. Nobody out. And that one outside for a ball. That one looked like a close pitch again. I think if Critelli were to walk in a batter, that would definitely probably end her day. And this one is going to get down for a base hit, so the Terriers will move just one up on the base pass. So that will score a run here.
Third baseman number 17, Emily Rock.
Well, one swing of the bat here. Now with the one run can really change the dynamic of this inning. If they were able to plate at least a couple more, still nobody out, that would definitely spell the end of Critelli's day. Suddenly, Poly in slightly a little bit more dangerous situation.
Yeah, obviously still up 6 here on the Terriers. Rock's been hitting it hard this whole game. On the season, not a whole lot of luck with the extra base hits. Only 1 double to her name, no triples, no homers, but she's going to send this one to the shortstop. This could be a double play ball. Rock trying to leg this one out, and they won't get her over at first. Oberhalser going for home. So they'll pick the runner off over at second, but 2 will score on that hit there from Rock. And it's heads up base running there from Oberhalser over at second.
Yeah, I mean, the awareness, it got away at first. And because of that, I mean, able to come around to score, and nobody paying attention either, so no throw came for Oberhalser. But that does spell the end of Critelli's day.
And we'll see if she's going to be out in the pitching circle again tomorrow. Like we mentioned, 223 pitches today. Probably going to be a little bit tired out. Probably going to sleep well tonight, depending on if Poly can hang on to this one. For the Terriers, I would assume it would be most likely Oberhalser coming out there on the mound for them. So we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network as it will be Stevens warming up out there in the pitching circle. And back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network, runner at first here. Thomas, one out here. Still going to need at least 4 more runners to cross the plate. That one almost catches Duhaime here. And this one's going to get hit out into the outfield for a base hit. Going for third here. This one's going to be close. Get in there. Runner at second. Terriers. Ethan, aggressive base running in these last 3 innings.
Continues to pay off. Rock read it very well as she headed up towards second. They're having a hard time getting it out of the outfield. And out there, Turk was just kind of being slow with it, not expecting her to take the turn, and she just turned on the Jets, went all the way around, and then Duhaime advances over to second.
So Federico now, the opening pitcher in this one. That one's going to be high.
Got 3 so far. You need at least 4 more.
Still only 1 out, no force out, so I think there wouldn't be a double play unless you had some sort of line out pickoff play out there. This one grounded up the middle. Play from the second baseman. Going to get there, not in time. So a run will cross, and now Ferrone up to bat. Theoretically, the game-tying run in this one.
Well, that's not something we expected to say heading into this half of the inning. But Ferrone representing the tying run. It's still only 1 out. So Stevens got to settle down. Remember, you just need those 2 outs.
The Terriers riding some momentum here, already putting up 4 here in this 7th inning. Ferrone could get a base hit here and be back around to the top side of the lineup. That first one in there for a ball. That one a good pitch in for strike 1. As Stevens just needs outs right now. Would have the force out over at second, so infield contact up the middle here. Could end the contest. Swing and a miss there from Ferrone. And really, they don't have the outs to give right now, Ethan. You need to get on a base here if you're Ferrone.
You've just got to
stay alive. Or at least advance the runners forward. You can't go down on strikes.
Protect the plate here. Put something in the field of play.
You can score one run here. And this one sent towards the third base. Tricky play. And the Terriers score another one. 2 runners out there on the field. So back around top of the lineup here.
This one starts to get a little sketchy. Now the top of the order for the Terriers, just down 2. Still just the one out, and you've got 2 on.
So the winning run in the batter's box right now is Ethan.
I'm standing up.
As Pickering, no home runs on the year, a couple doubles. This one pass ball. So runners move up to second and third. The tying runs both in scoring position here.
Time to work some magic.
And really also, Joy Stevens, this is her game at this point, Ethan. Bertelli already pulled out. You don't really have another pitcher on the roster who pitched significant innings at all. That one high. That's going to be a 2-0 count now here to Pickering. And that one in there for a strike. That was a pitch to swing at Ethan right down the middle, it looked like, from up here.
Yeah, and I mean, again, just trying to show that discipline, waiting, staying patient, It's a big spot to be in for anybody.
Pickering, the freshman, hits this one hard out into the outfield, caught by the left fielder. Runner going for home. They're going to get their runner at third will reach. So Pickering, that one, that a drop for a hit, Ethan. That probably would have scored 2 out there. But now a 10-9 ball game. Runner at third. Leah Knight up to bat here. They've fully batted around in the lineup.
Yeah, so what do you do in this situation for Poly? I mean, you've just given up 6 runs. You can't seem to get that last out. Now 2, you've got that going for you.
That one, a ball on the inside half. We could see, mentioned last time when Maddie Rock batted at the start of this inning, probably could be one of her last collegiate at bats. All of a sudden, 6 runs up.
She's sitting on deck.
That one outside. Don't want to put Knight on base here. Obviously, the tying run at third. Knight, the speedy second baseman, would be the winning run on the base pass with Rock and Oberhalser up to bat. That one a ball as well, so 3 straight balls here to Leah Knight. As this could be an important pitch here. I think Knight definitely going to have the bat on the shoulder on this one. Seems like Stevens probably definitely the nerves setting in this situation. That one low, 4-pitch walk to Knight. She started this inning off with a walk, came around to score. And not paying attention, Knight takes second here. I don't think Poly even knew what just happened. I don't think Stevens even realizes that Knight just went over to second there.
Re-entering for the Terriers, the shortstop.
So it'll be Maddie Rocks, Ethan, the graduate student in one of her last contests of her collegiate career, up to bat here. Runners at second and third. 6-run rally here in the 9th inning.
Talk about the script. It's right in front of you. And for Rock at the dish, calm down, see your pitch, hit it.
That one outside. If you walk Rock here, Oberhalser, one of the better batters in the entire conference, is going to be up to bat. And this one, that one fouled wide. That one lucky for Rock there. That was 3 feet to the right. Probably could have been a routine play for the third baseman.
Yeah, and that's when you got to calm down. You know you're ahead of that pitch. Got a little bit better on that timing. What can you do on this next offering?
Oh, Maddie Rock here trying to pull off the miracle for Thomas. This one grounded just foul. Down to their last strike here is Thomas. And just a storybook ending right now, Zethan. 1-2 count to Maddie Rock here. Graduate student. Joy Stevens out on the mound. This one in there. This one popped up. This is in the infield. Settling under it. Childers makes the catch. And that ends the game. The Terriers so close, yet so far, Zethan.
Yeah, Poly able to hold on, but boy, was it close. And we were up here all rooting for that to happen. That would have been an unbelievable comeback by the Terriers. They make their best effort. They pull within 1 and just come up short.
And that will end the contest. So Poly will be taking on the Eagles in the final game of this North Atlantic Conference Softball Championships. Game number 10 tomorrow, Ethan. First pitch scheduled for 1 p.m. between the number 20th ranked Eagles, who dominated Poly in that earlier contest today, And that's going to be a tough matchup for Suny Poly. Most likely going to be Critelli out on the mound in what will be her 4th contest of the weekend.
Yeah, and with Critelli going out there, you got to think if you get the win in game 1 somehow, then you got to think about game 2, because again, Poly coming out of the losers bracket has to win twice. They have to beat Husson twice, as it's a double elimination tournament. So after a close call today with Critelli giving up a total, I believe, of 16 or 17 runs between those 2 starts, that not a great day for the starter. Trying to change that around tomorrow against Husson in that championship game.
Well, for now, we wish you a good night. It will be me and Ethan again on the broadcast tomorrow for what could potentially be the final game of this NAC Softball Championships. For now, have a good rest of your evenings. Avery Henningsen alongside Ethan Moss.